Hey everybody, in this episode let's embark on an exhilarating crochet journey by crocheting the Ikigai Dishie. In this project I'm utilizing 100% acrylic knitting yarn together with a 4mm crochet hook. The foundation chain is constructed by chaining a multiple of 7 plus an additional 3 chains. To crochet a chain, place tail end of your yarn over your finger, create a loop with the yarn. Then pull the working yarn through this loop with a crochet hook to form the slip knot. To begin the chain, insert your crochet hook into the slip knot, yarn over and pull through the loop on hook, and continue the yarn over and pull through loop process to make the chain. In this instance, I have crocheted 63 chains, which is 7 multiplied by 9 plus 3 additional chains, totaling 66 chains. For row 1, skip the first 4 chains from hook. Make 1 DC in the 5th chain from hook. Insert your hook into the indicated stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2, yarn over and into 2. 1 DC made. Now chain 5. Here skip 3 chains and 1 DC in the back bump of the next chain. Yarn over and into indicated stitch, 3 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2, yarn over and into 2. 1 DC made. Here there is a chain 3 space. Now again chain 2, skip 2 chains and a DC in the 3rd chain. Insert hook into indicated space, draw a loop, 3 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2, yarn over and into 2. 1 DC made. This is the first repeat. Now repeat the same sequence within the open brackets till there are 5 chains remaining in the initial foundation chain 66. For your convenience, I'm repeating it again. Chain 5, skip 3 chains, a DC in the next chain. Chain 2, skip 2 chains and a DC in the next chain, that is yarn over and into indicated stitch, a chain, yarn over, draw a loop, 3 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2, yarn over and into 2. Catch you at the end of row 1. Now that the first row is nearly complete and there are only 5 more chains in the end. Okay, now make a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, and 5. Skip 3 chains and in the last but 1 chain make a DC. Insert into the back bump, yarn over, draw a loop, 3 loops on hook, yarn over into 2 and yarn over into 2. With only 1 chain remaining, work a DC in the final chain. For this project, we began with a foundation chain that is a multiple of 7, specifically chaining 63 stitches. That is 7 multiplied by 9. Upon completion, the subsequent pattern, you should observe a total of 9 chain 5 spaces. Get ready for an energizing journey ahead. As we progress, the pattern is not only going to become more straightforward but also increasingly thrilling. In the chart, row 2 has been highlighted in yellow for clarity. A chain is represented by a small oval or the number of chains is indicated beneath a short line. This symbol represents a double crochet or a DC, while this symbol denotes a double crochet 2 together or a DC 2 tog. Lastly, this symbol corresponds to a treble crochet. Now for row 2, make a chain 5 and turn your work. Skip the same and the next DC and make a DC, chain 2 DC in the same chain 5 space. Then make a chain 2, then make DC 2 together in next 2 DCs, that is yarn over and into the next DC. Draw a loop, 3 loops on hook, draw a loop through only 2 loops and then again yarn over and into the next DC, draw a loop, 4 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2 and yarn over into all 3 loops. Now when you make chain 2, this becomes one repeat. For your convenience, I will reiterate the repeat once more. Make 1 DC in the next chain 5 space, chain 2 and a DC in the same chain 5 space. Then make a chain 2 and half of 1 DC in the next DC and half of 1 DC in the next DC. 4 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2, now yarn over and into all 3 loops. Now make a chain 2. Here the second repeat is complete. I will meet you at the end of this row where you will have completed the DC chain 2 DC on the last chain 5 space. After completing the DC chain 2 DC in the last chain 5 space, make a chain 1, skip the next DC and make a TR in the beginning chain 3 of row 1. That is, yarn over twice, insert into the indicated space or stitch, yarn over, draw a loop, 4 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2 3 times and a TR is made. As you can see in the pattern chart, row 3 is another simple and enjoyable row to crochet. To begin row 3, make a beginning chain 3 and turn your work. Skip the chain 1 space and make a DC chain 2 DC in the next few stitches. That is, a DC on the first DC, chain 2 and skip the chain 2 beneath and a DC in the next DC. The instructions for making a DC is provided on your screens. By making a chain 5, you will complete the first repeat. For starting the second repeat, you have to skip the chain 2 space, DC 2 together, the next chain 2 space and make a DC in the next DC. Now chain 2, skip the next chain 2 and make a DC in the next DC. When you make the chain 5, the second repeat is complete. If you wish, please pause here to complete row 3. After the last DC, skip chain 1 and make a DC on the 4th chain of beginning chain 5 of previous row. As shown in the pattern chart, row 4 follows the same structure as row 2 with slight modifications. For row 4, make 7 chains. Of the 7 chains, the first 4 chains serve as the turning chain, while the next 3 chains act as the starting chain. Turn and repeat the following sequence until the end of this row. DC 2 together involving the next 2 DCs. Here make half DC, next yarn over and make half DC in the next DC. Once yarn over and you draw your loop, there will be 4 loops on hook, yarn over and into first 2 loops, 3 loops on hook, yarn over and into all 3 loops. A DC 2 together is complete. Next chain 2, make DC chain 2 DC in the next chain 5 space. 1 DC made, chain 2, another DC in the same chain 5 space. Now make a chain 2. Continue repeating this pattern until the row is complete. Pause here if you wish to crochet row 4. After you have crocheted DC 2 together in the last 2 DCs, make a chain 3 and a TR in the beginning chain 3 of row 3. Row 4 is now complete. Row 5 follows the same structure as row 3 with slight modifications. Now make a chain 3 and turn your work. Make 1 DC in the chain 3 space at the base. Make a chain 5 and skip both DC2 together and the next chain 2 space. Make 1 DC in the next DC. Yes, yarn over and into 2, yarn over and into 2, 1 DC made. Now chain 2, make 1 DC in the next DC, insert into the indicated space, draw a loop, 3 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2, yarn over and into 2. Repeat chain 5, DC in next DC, chain 2, DC in next DC 8 more times. After completing the required repeats, skip the next chain 2 space and the DC2 together. Make a chain 5 and then skip 3 chains of the beginning chain 7 and make 2 DC in the 4th chain of the beginning chain 7. That is, insert your hook into the indicated space or stitch, yarn over, draw a loop, 3 loops on hook, yarn over and into 2, yarn over and into 2, and make another DC in the same way in the same space. Row 5 is now complete. After row 5, when you stretch the Ikigai Dishie, the overlapping orbs become clearly visible. Is it not? Repeat rows 3 to 5 as many times as needed to achieve your desired Dishie size. Upon closer inspection of the pattern chart, 2 key details emerge. Each chain 5 space is followed by a row containing DC chain 2 DC, which is then again repeated in the next row. In the above chart, this is indicated in blue, and the second detail is that the second row of DC chain 2 DC is consistently followed by a DC 2 together in the subsequent row. This is truly a beautifully designed pattern. Kudos to the designer for such intricate craftsmanship.